Hi, Leo. Welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for September 2019. For you this month, Leo, there's going to be a lot of activity in the beginning of the month in your house of money, security, and finance. And that's going to shift into an emphasis in your house of communication as the month goes on. Natha, what do you have to say about Mercury's activity this month in the second house?
Hi, Leo. So, Mercury, remember, is our planet of communication and also our planet of being busy and getting things done and connecting in with people. Mercury is going to be in your second house in the beginning of the month in the sign of Virgo. So, the second house is finances, it's the way that we eat, it's our relationship to our physical body. And so, Virgo there, not super exciting and interesting, but a really good time to organize your finances. So, if you have chaos in any realm of your financial situation, and you probably know what that is as I'm talking, this is a really good time to get meticulous and improve your situation. We do have something kind of cool happening on September 2nd, and that's called a Greater Epiphany Day. And this is when Mercury and the Sun can join each other. And this is a really great day for making things happen. So, Julia said in another horoscope, and I'm just going to take her words because I liked it. She said, "You know how in Mercury retrograde we say don't sign contracts and don't make agreements? Well, this is the opposite of that. This is a really good time to do those things. So, agreements when it comes to money, something else, another piece of it is that this might be a good time to recommit to healthy eating or self care practices that you've let slide."
Hmm.
So, Mercury is going to move into the third house, which is Libra for you. And the third house is also about communication. So, Mercury is really happy and healthy here. And Libra communication has a smoothness to it. Libra likes to keep the peace and doesn't like a lot of arguing and drama. So, just know that that's great. This is a perfect time to have some really smooth conversations with people and
Mm.
really enjoy that while it lasts. And I know that Julia has some stuff to tell us about Venus and Mars.
I sure do, Natha, and great advice for Leo rising, by the way. So, Leo, for the first half of the month, Venus is going to be in your second house, and that's the house of finances as well as security, too, because what is money but really just a symbol for providing for us and giving us security in life? Because it can be used for paying your rent, it can be used for giving you enough nourishment through food. So, when Venus is in the second for the first half of the month, it is a really nice time to just do a little bit of shopping, especially for things which are Venus ruled, because it's the planet of art and beauty. So it'd be a good time if you wanted to spend some money on some luxury goods and aesthetic things. Just be a little bit wary about spending too much money, because that can certainly happen here. And then when Venus goes into the third after the 14th, because it's such a social planet and the third house can relate to our neighbors as well as our siblings, it can be a really great time for socializing with those groups of people. The third house is also the house of communications in general. And with Venus there, which, she's a very loving and sort of peacekeeping planet, it could be an excellent time for any sort of negotiations you have to do, especially if they've been a little bit bumpy in the past. You can really sort of smooth over communications with people. And then in terms of Mars, which is the planet of action and activity and passion, he's going to be in your second house all month. And there's also going to be a special day associated with Mars called Heroic Epiphany Day on the 3rd. And that's when Mars is moving really, really fast and it conjoins the sun. So that really gives Mars a kind of supercharge of energy. And in your second house, that can mean maybe initiating new actions to build more security in your life, as well as how to earn money, how to go out there and grab that dollar. But because Mars can have a little bit of a feisty side to him, just be mindful about not getting into too many disputes over money during that time. Anything else, Jamie?
Yeah, there are a couple of moons happening this month that are absolutely worth talking about. One of them features the full moon, and it's a harvest moon. That's what we call it when the full moon happens in Virgo in September. And that features the sun here in Virgo with Mars in the second house, and also the moon opposite it in Pisces with Neptune in the eighth house. And I'm liking to think of this harvest moon as a little oasis of peacefulness, a good time to get some R&R, to kind of pull back from the world and go into inner worlds instead, just for about 3 days in the middle of the month, like the 12th, 13th, and 14th. And with all that Mars and other activity here in Virgo in the second house, there's such a flurry going on in your own personal finances that this Moon Neptune might pull you into um, well, the eighth house represents finances that you share with other people. And that can be a healthy partnership or it can be an unhealthy codependency. So while this moon is, I think, really good for pulling you into your own inner worlds and also into a deeper state of intimacy with a partner, I would also watch out for um, taking any actions around the full moon that might lead to a sort of a financially entangled or entwined state of codependency with any partners that you might have in your life. So there's that interesting piece. And then a couple of days later, on the 18th, Saturn, which has been retrograde for several months, is turning direct. And so there it is. Saturn is falling in your sixth house, which is the house of work, health, and service. So if you have been experiencing a lot of pressure and some obstacles and feeling like there's something, almost as if you're being tested in those areas, maybe around your health, a persistent condition that's just been bugging you in the last couple of months, especially, or in the workplace, feeling as if there's something that you've really got to take responsibility for. Um, that's this Saturn pivot, this shift from Saturn retrograde to Saturn direct is very likely to give you just the insight that you need to begin to move forward again. And that can feel really good, especially in the workplace, I think, where we spend a lot of hours of our day, don't we? So then a couple of days later than that, on the 21st, we have Jupiter and Neptune making their final pass in square to each other. And Jupiter and Neptune have been moving in and out of a square this year as Jupiter goes back and forth in Sagittarius in your fifth house of fun. It's been bringing you a lot of fun and a lot of expansion and maybe some blatant self-promotion too as it goes along. Neptune in your eighth house has been, it's been there for quite a long time and it will continue there for quite a long time, quite a few years to come. And it's been making your deeper relationships a little bit murky. And this is really an opportunity to redream them. But this particular transit with Jupiter and Neptune in a square can only add to the confusion. And I like to say that this transit is really characterized by mass delusion. So if you've been if in your relationship you've been sort of pretending along with your partner, it may be time for that to end. And after this transit finishes, we might all wake up from a sort of a dream that we've been involved in for most of the year, and it could be a whole new world. So then the last thing I want to tell you about is the new moon coming at the end of the month, and it's going to be in Libra, and that means your third house, and Venus is nearby. So there's the moon and the sun together in Libra in your third house, and the new moon always brings a fresh quality to it, new beginnings, seeds planted in the darkness of the new moon that can, branch out and grow fruit later in times to come. And this one being in Libra in the third house has to do with the people that are right around you all the time. Your neighbors, your housemates, the guy who runs the corner store that you see, every other day or so. Those people who are right around you, and you may not be emotionally close to them always, but there's a frequency of contact. And I think that this new moon in sweet, sweet Libra can be a great time for planting seeds for better negotiations, um, kinder, gentler relations with these people, and just really enjoying those connections, when you do touch base. So that's what we have for you this month, Leo. I hope you enjoyed it. Tune in next month for our October horoscope here on YouTube. We'll have them organized in a playlist, and we'll see you around the cosmos. Bye bye.